Well, for more on this, we're joined by Afrah Nasser in Gothenburg, Sweden. She's a researcher at Human Rights Watch. Good to have you with us. So, how concerned are you about the implications of this designation?
I think it's just brutal what's happening to civilians in Yemen. I don't know how much more suffering civilians in Yemen can tolerate. Life was already hell for millions of civilians. And this designation will just have disastrous ramification on millions of people who are living under the control of the Houthi armed group in the north, which consists the largest portion of the population. And many of them rely on life-saving humanitarian aid. And it's terrible, it's awful.
How do you see the timing of this? The US could have done this, of course, many years ago. There are human rights organizations reports that do talk about both sides, the Houthis and the coalition, as being suspected of violating international humanitarian law when it comes to civilians.
True. And it's very important to mention that all parties to the conflict are responsible of gross human rights violations and war crimes. A report after another from all human rights organizations and even UN expert groups have published reports really stating how the parties to the conflict, including the Houthi armed group and the Saudi-led coalition and other allies affiliated with the different groups, are responsible of gross human rights violation. We were expecting this designation for some time now, but the timing really, it was very interesting because in the statement by Pompeo himself, he was mentioning the attack on the Aden report solely of all the other attacks. So it posed the question, what the link is between the recent attack on Aden and the designation. What seems to me, and I think for a lot of viewers, this is like a goodbye gift by the Trump administration for the Saudi-led coalition. The designation has completely disregard to the human life, to the protection of civilians, and it only feeds the interest of the Saudi-led coalition and in harming the Houthi armed group. And it's very important to say that we also in Human Rights Watch have called for sanction against certain aid blockers in Yemen. But to designate all the Houthi armed group will harm the civilian population more than the Houthis themselves.
All right. Now, do we expect a change of direction under the Biden administration? The Biden administration has been more critical, of course, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, so far at least.
Yeah. So during the campaign of Biden, he was very clear in saying and stating that one of the main things that he will do if he became a president, that he will end the role of the U.S. in the Yemen war. And it's not clear now if Biden would want to reverse this designation, but we're really hopeful that part of his new approach to the situation in Yemen, he would really want to reverse it. But that the bureaucracy and politically will take so much time, and in that time, really, millions of Yemenis cannot wait, actually.
All right, thank you so much for your analysis on that, Afrah Nasser.